Good evening, and welcome to the National Catholic College Admissions Association and Jesuit Excellence Tour virtual college event. Thank you so much for coming to spend time with us. Remember, during this event, your camera microphone is going to be off. So if you want to communicate with us, please use the Q&A button that's on your screen. Also, remember that there will be recording of this available after the event at shrivescan.com/NCCAA. So please enjoy this event. Have a great time as well. More importantly, have some great questions for the representatives for sure. So now I'll turn it over to panelists for the evening. Enjoy everything.
Hi guys, my name is Jonna McGovern. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions. Sorry, that's a new one for me to get to say at Misericordia University. I'm just preparing, sharing my screen. And here we go, presentation started. Excellent. So I hope everyone can see that okay. So my name, like I said, is Jonna McGovern. Misericordia we are a small Catholic institution in Northeast Pennsylvania. So that Dallas does correctly say PA. We are not from Texas. And I'm going to share a little bit about our Catholic identity as a Catholic institution. And so Misericordia, oftentimes when I meet new students who haven't heard of us before, they say, how do you pronounce that? And so Misericordia, it's literally mercy, or it's Latin for mercy, or really to have compassion for others. And that is the founding of our university. We are a Sisters of Mercy institution founded by that religious order of nuns. And just a little bit so that you can figure out how we came to be who we are. The Sisters of Mercy were founded way back when in Ireland. Catherine Macaulay, our foundress, she was helping and doing a ton of service for the women in Ireland. And the Catholic Church had stepped in and they kind of just said like, hey, this is what we do here. So why don't you join us? And she said, absolutely, as long as I can continue to serve in my ministries. And so Catherine began serving her ministries alongside of the Catholic Church, and eventually the sisters moved first to Pittsburgh, and then they found us close to Wilkes-Barre, PA. They found that when things happen, we're a big coal mining community here, when things happen to husbands and fathers and brothers in the mines, that the women had to step up and not only run the household, but also be the kind of financial provider of the family. So they founded Misericordia not only as the first four-year institution in Northeast Pennsylvania, but also as an all-women's institution. And so when we were founded, we started out with nursing and education, two just incredible helping professions, and really all of the majors that our students can study have just grown from there. But today is not really about academics. Today is all about who we are as Catholics. And so the way that you can still find an identity of Catholicism on our campus, because it's by no means like a requirement that our students are Catholic. Quite literally, our mission statement is all are welcome. The way you still see that identity is really through those four words in the top corner: mercy, service, justice, and hospitality. Those are our charisms, or the values that we live by. And we really do aim to find students who embody those charisms when we're reading our applications. And not only that, but we help prepare our students throughout their time at our university to carry those charisms out into the world. Because that is what's really big for us, is you being able to step out and really become the kind of person who embodies why Catherine Macaulay founded her sisterhood. So I like to then turn it over to what our students do that helps so much with that. And so these are just a few of the many pictures of a lot of what happens on, around our campus, and even abroad, because our service trips do really extend that far. And so, the largest picture, it's one of my favorites. Our occupational therapy program does help operate a clinic in Jamaica. And so our students, for their fieldwork placements, they have the opportunity to go there every summer to be able to help provide that type of therapy to individuals in Jamaica near our clinic. but it doesn't take going abroad to be able to do big things. And so we have really a lot of our ministries do revolve around the critical concerns of the Sisters of Mercy. Those are, caring about the earth and environmental sustainability. It is caring for immigrants, and that comes through a lot of, even most recently, the head of our campus ministry office left to go work at the border and to help families there. Other critical concerns include nonviolence. It includes racism and trying to create a more anti-racist world. And it does include caring for women. So you'll see a lot of pictures of, women up here today, but we are an integrated campus that includes both men and women today. In the bottom corner, you can see members of our basketball team we do a 24-hour American flag carry on 9/11, just as an act of justice and an act of solidarity, to stand with the family members who were affected by that event and are still affected today. But otherwise, you can see, we do adopted grandparent events. You can see them that's from the Mercy Center, which is on our campus. Bowling. Our students go and volunteer at different farms in the area. They work in therapeutic riding lessons. They go all across the East Coast for spring break every year for service trips to work with Habitat for Humanity. So it really is, I think, just the special ways that, all of these projects have risen because the students have demanded them. They see places where, there's a call to serve, and they step in and they ask for us to have these. They're student-led organizations, and, we're really proud of them for the initiative that they take. So that's a little bit about us and how we live in our Catholic identity. This is a little bit of contact information for me. I highly recommend it. If it isn't our Instagram that you follow after this to keep up with what our students are doing, our Office for Mission Ministry and Service runs an incredible Instagram where you get to see stories about the different ministries that they're offering. And so thank you very much. I am going to turn it over to Rockhurst University now, and I look forward to your questions later.
All righty, everyone. I'm about to share my screen here. All right, so hello again. My name is Bibi Solomon, and I work with Rockhurst University, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. So Rockhurst University is a Jesuit institution, and we are located in Kansas City, Missouri. And the best way to describe our Jesuit mission is to understand that we are women and men who reflect upon the reality of what's around us in the world. So everything that's ambiguous, the opportunities, the challenges, and to really discern on what is happening in your life and the life of people around you. And we try and find God and discover where He is calling you, and to adopt two criteria for significant decisions that you reflect in a way that you value, rather in a way that you value in the grand scheme of things, the greater glory of God, rather than narrow, exclusive self-interest in a way. So again, like I mentioned earlier, we make these decisions in the light of what is for the greater glory of God and the service to those who are in need and marginalized, and act according to that. Our students, throughout their Rockhurst experience, they discover our core values and how they can relate to their lives, and frankly, whether they're Catholic or not. So just to kind of piggyback off of my colleague previously, we are not an institution that requires you to be Catholic. So these core values are finding God in all things, and we believe that God, or good, is actively working in our lives and in the world, and therefore we strive to search and find God in every circumstance, and to grow and love, and that love is for goodness, and again, God, and for our neighbors, and for the world, and to model all of these aspects in the way that we teach and the way that our students learn. And again, just in ways that they encounter different things to respond to that calling. Cura personalis is our second core value, and that means care for the whole person in Latin. And with that, we encourage our students to commit to caring for others in and outside of the classroom, and therefore we strive to help people and to understand their inherent human dignity to reach their greatest human potential. And then magis, which means more. And more in excellence. So we seek to the greater knowledge of the academic and spiritual and social disciplines, and to find more purposeful and effective ways to carry out our work. Reflection and discernment. And with that core value, we encourage students to seek a greater knowledge of all creation. So to reflect on their own life experience in the world, and to discern the movements of why they do things, and to listen to the experience of other people as well. Contemplation is in action is our fifth core value. And with this, our community really does take that responsibility for their gifts and talents to help build up the gifts and talents of others through so many different opportunities of service and leadership. And they strive to be agents of transformation, especially in areas of social justice and equality. And finally, wisdom. We're an institution, so obviously we're committed to learning, and we strive to learn all the aspects of this very hypercharged world, and to create an environment that values and champions the search for good communication and knowledge, and to examine the moral and ethical disciplines of the world. And you don't have to do it through a religious experience, but it is part of who we are. And it's just, again, to understand the human culture, to foster that love that leads us to, again, being change agents. So with Rocker's comprehensive model, we are a very supportive community that forms lifelong learners in the Catholic Jesuit liberal arts tradition, in which we engage, again, with the complexities of the world and serve others as compassionate and thoughtful leaders. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Thomas, from University of St. Thomas. Very nice and convenient.
Thank you very much. I'm just gonna pull this up here quick. All right, so at the University of St. Thomas, we are a private Catholic university, and we actually have 3 different campus locations. We are located, excuse me, I'm gonna try to go back here quick. We're located in the Twin Cities, so in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We have a couple different campuses. Our main undergraduate campus is right in St. Paul, and we're in a really residential part of the city, which I think is really great for students, because the Twin Cities is a top 15 metro area in the country. So really exciting to have a lot of that big city experience with a lot of, those fun big city things to do, but it still feels a little bit more private, a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed, but students still have access to all those fun big city things. Where we fit in the grand scheme of things, we are sort of a medium-sized school. We have about 6,000 undergrad students, about 4,000 grad students, so about 10,000 total students. And I really like that from the student perspective, because we're sort of in between. Like we're big enough where you're constantly meeting new people all the time. You don't know everyone, but still small enough that the average class size is about 21. Most classes are capped at 30. So you still get more of, similar to the other institutions here, you still get more of that personalized learning experience, a little bit more collaborative, a little bit more what a lot of students are used to from their high school as far as the in-class learning experience. So as you see on the bottom, most of the undergrad programs, our residence halls, athletic facilities are located on our St. Paul campus. We have a second campus in downtown Minneapolis for a couple other undergrad programs, but also a lot of our grad programs. We have a new 2-year Associate of Arts degree program. And then we have a third campus in Rome, and that's really cool. We do have the oldest Catholic studies program in the country, and just really exciting. I mean, we have a lot of study abroad programs, and I can't think of a better place to study theology and learn a little bit more about your faith than right in Rome, where a lot of stuff started. So a lot of different campus locations, but it is pretty cool to have a big variety within that. I do want to point out, as far as academics at St. Thomas, I think one of the benefits of a private Catholic school like St. Thomas is there are a lot of resources for students across a variety of different things. But as far as academics, there are over 100 majors and over 50 minors for students to choose from. So there is a pretty comprehensive list for students. For students that are undecided, I mean, you do have until the end of your sophomore year to officially declare what you want to major in, which is really nice. So it gives you quite a bit of time to explore and take your time as you're trying to sort of figure that out and figure out what that looks like. Our largest programs, you can see on the top right of the screen, you got business, anything in the health sciences, communications, engineering, and psychology round out the top 5. And we're really excited. We're in the final approval stages for a nursing program for this next fall. And then this is our first year of being Division I for athletics. So a lot of fun changes have been going on and happening around campus, and hopefully we'll have more going forward. As far as faith on campus, a question students ask, I think a lot of schools is, do I need to be Catholic to go there to St. Thomas? And the answer is no. About half of our students are Catholic, and about a half of our students aren't Catholic. And the students that aren't Catholic are practicing a variety of diverse faith, are exploring their faith, or don't practice faith at all. But we do have a new renovation to our chapel. We obviously had an older chapel, but expanded on that structure that just got finished this last year. So super exciting and awesome renovation that was done. But as far as faith on campus, I tell students all the time, being a Catholic university, obviously we promote Catholic values, and it's sort of intertwined with everything that we do. But we obviously, because of that, accept students of all different faith backgrounds. And the reality is you can be as involved or as not involved in your faith as you want. For students that do want to get involved, we have a Center for Campus Ministry, and you can be involved in a lot of different liturgical worship activities, a lot of mission-based service, a lot of retreats. Community service is huge for us. I think any Catholic school, the Catholic identity is focused on advancing the common good. And for us, that's a really great way to be able to give back into the community. And our students definitely do. I mean, this last year before COVID, over 45,000 hours of community service were done by St. Thomas students, which is awesome. Just being in the cities, being able to give back to the community. As part of the core curriculum that all students take, you do take one theology class, one philosophy class, and then a second theology class as well. So it is intertwined for all students within our curriculum, but there are also a lot of other ways to get involved as well. I do want to mention the last thing for us, as far as financial aid and what that looks like. I know for a lot of students, when you first start looking at private schools or Catholic schools, and as you're starting to take a look at the costs and what that'll look like, it can be a little scary. Our tuition for this year is about $47,000 per year, but the reality is that almost no one pays that. We offer a merit-based scholarship, and that's based on your application for admissions, and it ranges between $10,000 at the low end up to about $34,000 at the high end, with the average being just under $30,000 or so. So there's a lot of aid. There's a lot of need-based aid that we award as well. A lot of departmental scholarships for coming from a Catholic school for specific majors. So a lot of ways to try to bring that cost down even more. And then lastly, as far as visit options, we do offer a lot of virtual visit options where you can meet with admissions, financial aid, a lot of the departments one-on-one. You can come visit campus as well. It's a gorgeous campus. So we do encourage that students come out and visit. And with that being said, I think we'll turn it over to any questions that you may have, and we're happy to keep getting those questions and everything answered.
All right, guys. So I think the panelists can all probably turn their cameras on now if they'd like, so we could start answering some questions. I think while we give you a chance to please submit some in the Q&A, because really tonight should be about you and having your questions answered. We're so thankful for your attendance. We all had thought of just some of the questions we get very often from students when we talk about, what it means to attend a Catholic university. And so I want to kick things off with just a first question of what are the opportunities on your campus for worship, and are you required to attend the Catholic Mass? So Thomas, do you want to start with that?
Sure, yeah. Opportunities for worship. First of all, obviously being a Catholic university, there's like 4 or 5 different, we have obviously like larger and smaller chapel locations. New actually as part of our recent renovation is just a lot more space for different multicultural faith worship spots on campus as well, which has been super exciting. Students aren't required to attend Mass. Obviously there is Mass that's offered like 4 times a day on campus. One of the fun ways that students do attend Mass is on Sunday night at 9 p.m. They call it Last Chance Mass. So students that don't want to wake up early in the morning and want to sleep in or study have the opportunity to still attend Mass later as they're just finishing the weekend. And it is kind of a relaxing, peaceful way to close out that weekend as they're looking forward to get started on their week ahead.
Cool. I'll jump in next. So Misericordia is a little bit different. We don't have quite as many chapels or churches on campus. We're a very small university with about 1,600 undergrad students. And when you include our grad students in that, it does bump up to about 2,000 because we have some direct entry health science programs. So we have one small chapel on campus. It fits our student body quite well. Some students who do really love the aspect of expressing their faith, they're able to attend Mass in the evenings on Wednesdays and on Sundays and on all holy days of obligation as well. But we do offer other opportunities because Mass is certainly not required on our campus. But some other opportunities we do offer, like a fair with all of the religious orders in our area, so that, whether a student wants to find a separate Catholic church, like there's one about 2 miles down the street from campus, or they are maybe a different Christianity or a different religion altogether, we give them that opportunity to find the right place for them to worship. And we always provide transportation to those places as well, so that they can continue to express their faith in the best way for them.
Okay. As for Rockhurst, we also have an on-campus chapel, of which Mass is facilitated every day at lunch, and then we partner up with the Communities Catholic Church right across the street from our campus for Sunday night Mass. Similar to University of St. Thomas, half of our population is Catholic, and then the other half are an all-inclusive backgrounds of faith and spirituality, identity, I guess. But we also have an interfaith prayer room on our campus that is open for all of our students of different faith background. Our campus ministry works with our Catholic and non-Catholic students equally. Our director of campus ministry always says we have ships in every port. So regardless of what your faith or spiritual background is, the team, the campus ministry team is able to connect you with that and plug you in Kansas City. There is a question that came in, and the question is, can you speak to the religion-based core curriculum and whether or not service learning is required? And then they thanked us for the presentation. So thank you for that. I'll go ahead and start since I'm already talking. But in terms of the religion-based core curriculum at Rockhurst, we do require students to take a theology course. They are required to take a total of 6 hours. So that's 2 classes. And it can be any theology course. It doesn't have to be a Catholic-based course. And then in terms of service learning, we do not require service learning. So students they volunteer their time, but some classes do require service learning. So it really depends on the professor and the style of the class, but it would typically be related to the topic that they are learning about. So it's almost like a mini job shadow.
Excellent. Yeah, so I love this question. Misericordia is a liberal arts college, and so we do have a religious requirement for students, but it's definitely more to do with the liberal arts side of our university than the Catholic side. Our students are all required to take a world religions class that focuses on all religions, and really our goal there is to make sure that students can go out into the world as good citizens and understand the perspectives of all of the individuals they come across, especially with all of our health sciences. We know they'll have patients who maybe want certain treatments based on how, the faith that they profess. And so we want them to be prepared for that. Similar to Rockhurst, the requirement is to take 2 courses. And so with that, students are able to choose a second course that either maybe expands on something they found interesting or kind of helps them to deepen their faith in something that, they want to be able to understand more. We also do offer service learning classes. They are not required. Students are able to sign up for them. They know ahead of time that they are service learning. And I think one of the unique aspects of our service learning, because I went to another Catholic university, a Jesuit university in Philadelphia for my undergraduate career, my service learning classes were all part of my core curriculum. I was able to actually teach English as a second language for my freshman English class. But at Misericordia, we actually tie those service learning classes up into the majors, and we find it helps to give our students an opportunity to go out and test themselves prior to getting to their internships and their field work, so that they can not only, have extra time to give back through their actual classwork, but they actually get to develop some professional skills and learn their strengths and their passions through them.
And I mentioned that, as far as St. Thomas, I mentioned this a little bit before, but yeah, we do require at least one semester of a theology class. And it's really similar. It's more of it's a historical look at the history of Christianity and Catholicism. And it's kind of a blend of typical theology and a history class, which is pretty unique. But then for the second option that students choose, they can choose to dive a little bit deeper into the traditional Catholicism type classes, but there's a lot of world religion classes that are offered. There's a lot of like theology and certain subject specific classes that are offered as well. And we don't require any service learning classes. I mean, obviously community service is big for us at St. Thomas. Students that are in clubs are required to complete community service as part of being in a club. And then in our business, our business department, students that are majoring in a business, a community service class is built in to that, but that's specific to the business program, not the university as a whole.
Very cool. Awesome. So I think maybe we would be remiss if we didn't answer the actual question of our panel, which is, why should you attend a Catholic institution? So Habiba, would you like to start us off?
So I did not attend, and I'm going to speak on a very personal experience here, and I hope that our attendees can hopefully relate. But I did not attend a Catholic institution for undergraduate. I did get my master's from Rockhurst, and I am a woman of faith, but I am not Catholic. So it was such a great working for a Catholic institution or being a part of a Catholic institution is such a great way to be grounded. It just kind of helps you figure out what it means to be a wholesome person, whether you do belong to the faith or you don't, because you're always reminded by what's good and something of value. And there's always intentionality behind the decisions and the way that the students are taught, again, whether they're Catholic or not. So there's always that grounding foundation. Like, for example, at Rockhurst, we have these core values and they can relate to anybody, not just the Catholic individual. So it's very grounding, and it just kind of almost strengthens your faith or helps you explore ways to make you feel whole. So that is why you should attend a college or a Catholic institution.
I can answer next. I would agree with that. I mean, I think, at any Catholic institution, like, I think the whole point of Catholicism and being a Catholic institution is just being welcoming of not only Catholic students, but students of all different faith backgrounds. So, you have that, I guess, support naturally just built into the campus. But I think, most Catholic universities that you'll go to, or most that I've been to, those core values are always shown around campus. So there is that grounding, I guess, like unity, not only with, everything that's done like academic wise, but just all the students know, like, hey, we're at a Catholic institution where we have these core values, we're going to advance the common good. And everything that we do is very intentional about that. So I think the reason is just because of that, like, exactly what you're getting, what those values are, and you don't have to second guess it all because everything is very intentional about it.
Yeah, I agree so much with what my colleagues have said tonight. And I think the word I use to kind of summarize the things they pointed out is community. There is, at both the institution I attended for undergrad and how welcomed I felt since starting at Misericordia, the values that each institution upholds, and they're different from school to school, but they create an automatic sense of community. And when you already have that community that rallies around something that can be for every student, it doesn't so much become about finding your niche, but about feeling like, and I'm kind of maybe taking this from more the Jesuit side, but that you can kind of live greater and do it together. Like that there's a place for everyone within the network. And I mean, I just love the opportunities I've had since I started at Misericordia that, I feel like I stepped on campus and immediately there were people who tried to sweep me in. They heard the things I had done at, other institution I had worked at. And within my first week, they were trying to get me to help them start a prison education initiative because it's just the type of place where, I mean, I think Ms. and I think it's part of the identity of being at a Catholic school is that you just get swept up and people want you to pull you right into the things that you're passionate about and help you find ways of expressing that like right from the jump. And so I really do love the sense of community at the schools I've attended that have been Catholic. Very good. So I don't see any other questions popping up into the Q&A, but please feel free as we're wrapping up, sneak it in there really quick. If not, I think I would love to say thank you, and I'm sure our other panelists would as well, but we can turn it over to John.
John, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And when you leave this, there will be a quick survey you can fill out for us to help us gain great feedback to help with more events down the road. Remember, this event is going to be recorded, so you can find that recording at strivescan.com/NCCAA. So for all of us, thank you so much for coming and enjoy your evening. Great job, everyone. And you all, 7:30, I guess 6:36. So wonderful time as well. Impressive.
Thank you,
Have a
John.
great one. You're welcome. You all did a
Excellent.
great
Thank
job.
you so much.
Bye.
You're
Nice
welcome.
meeting
Good
you.
night.